We are now going to look at three different verb types. For example, to drive, voziti, to see, vidjeti, and to hold, držati. Even though these three verbs have different endings, they are all I conjugation. So when their various endings are removed, the infinitive ends in an I, and their similarities become obvious. Let's take a look at type 2 I conjugation verbs ending in ti. Removing the ti, we get the infinitive form ending in I, which again is the same form that he, she, and it takes. First person singular, or I, receives an M on the end. Second person singular, or you, receives a hard S, or sh. Third person, he, she, and it, receive no additional ending. First person plural, or we, receives an MO. Second person plural, or you, receives a TE. And for the third person plural, or they, it doesn't receive an additional ending. Instead, the ending changes from I to E. In the first example, we have to drive, or voziti. I drive is vozim, you drive is vozish, he, she, or it drives is vozi, we drive is vozimo, you drive is vozite, and they drive is voze. And we can see with voze the different ending. On this table, which also is in the Croatian case forms reference, if we look at the he, she, it column, we can clearly see that the ti removed, we are left with an I ending, and this space is visible across the whole row. So, starting with the third person, he, she, it, we have vozi, hrani, uči, gubi, nosi. Then the first person column, or I, we have vozim, hranim, učim, gubim, nosim. Second person is voziš, hraniš, učiš, gubiš, nosiš. First person plural is vozimo, hranimo, učimo, gubimo, nosimo. Second person plural is vozite, hranite, učite, gubite, nosite. And finally, we have third person plural with the different ending voze, hrane, uče, gube, nose. Let's look at some examples using the accusative case, subject, verb, object order, and paying attention to who is doing the action. I am feeding the hungry chickens. Hranim gladne kokoši. She is learning a new language. Ona uči novi jezik. We are coming home late. Dolazimo kući kasno. They are celebrating a special birthday. Slave poseban rođendan. And to practice these, there are exercises in the accusative case as well as some in the instrumental case. Now let's take a look at another verb ending. These are type 3, also I conjugation, but this time they end in YETI. With these verbs, we don't remove the entire ending, just the JET, leaving the ending I. And because it is an I conjugation verb, they, or third person plural, changes from I to an E. To see, or vidjeti, becomes I see, vidim, you see, vidiš, he, she, it sees, vidi, we see, vidimo, you see, vidite, and they see is vide. Let's see some of these in sentences, paying attention to who is doing the action. Vidim dugu rieku. I see a long river. Želiš hladno pivo. You want a cold beer. Ptice lete u daljini. The birds, or they, are flying in the distance. Balon lebdi u nebu. The balloon, or it, is hovering in the sky. Živimo u starom gradu. We live in the old city. On je voli. He loves her. And remember, the reason we write on je voli and not on voli je is because the enclitic, in this case her, in the accusative case which is je, must come second in the sentence. Some of these lend themselves to the locative case, like in the sky, and others to the accusative. You will find exercises containing type 3 verbs in both of these cases. And don't worry if this is all a bit confusing for you. We are going through these fairly quickly, but there is a section for each verb type in the Croatian case forms with some examples, as well as a complete list identifying verb type. And once you do more exercises, you will get more familiar and eventually learn them, so don't get too hung up over it if you don't understand it straight away. Now, let's move on to our final verb for this video, which is type 4, which again are I conjugation, this time ending in ATI. The remainder of this video, along with our other content on Patreon, is now available with a free trial. Click on the link in the description below and don't forget to try the sample quiz.